guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Furman BMW because guess what? We have a 2019 Honda Civic Type R that was just recently traded in, only has 9,000 miles on it. And we're gonna talk a little bit about, is this the best hot hatch bargain? Are you better off getting one of these pre-owned than buying one brand new or going to a different brand like Subaru with the WRX STI or maybe a pre-owned Ford Focus RS? So those are things I want you to think about while we're talking about this 2019 Sonic Gray Pearl Honda Civic Type R. Now remember, the Honda Civic Type R made its first appearance here in the United States in 2017. Front-wheel drive, mind-blowing performance, that 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine, 306 horsepower, that fast lap around the Nürburgring, which guess what, has been eclipsed by another front-wheel drive car. A car from China, believe it or not, has broken the record. So the Type R no longer holds that Nürburgring top speed time for a front-wheel drive vehicle, but I'm sure they're gonna go back and try again. But all of Honda's awesome engineering has gone into this, and this really is the most powerful Honda product available in the United States, especially when looking at a Civic or an Accord. So let's go ahead, dive into this Sonic Gray Pearl. This was a new color for 2019 Civic Type R. Off the bat, you'll notice the same styling since 2017, full LED lighting, LED turn signals, daytime running lamps, the gloss black, how it integrates into that front grille. We drop down and what do we have? A waffle iron. If you want to make waffles, these fake vents are perfect for that. I am going to zonk it. I even zonked it on my own Type R when I first bought it in 2017. You got your fog lamps down low, and then everything that you see on this car aero-wise is pretty much functional, except for this. These side vents, they're not for brake cooling. They're not. They're for channeling the air into the fender, out the side vents. Where the brake cooling actually takes place, there's actually brake cooling ducts in between the lower portion of the front fascia and this large splitter. Now, as we come across the front, that large splitter here scooping air into the intercooler, giving us actual downforce. One thing to be aware of is that, remember, this is a turbocharged car, so you're gonna have that intercooler back here, and even though it's not real carbon fiber, it looks pretty close. Now, as we come up, you'll notice the iconic R badge. So this is only on Type R products. The reason why the Honda badge is red, it goes back to their Formula One days, all the way back in the 1960s. Type R badging on the side here. And then another thing you'll notice is that there's actually another scoop to feed air. A lot of people think the hood scoop is what feeds air into the engine. It's not. The scoop is actually located right in this top portion above the larger section of the front grille area. Now, when we go up onto the hood, you have two very nice body lines that start with the front fascia, go up onto the hood. You have that central air scoop that is a functional piece for channeling air that hits the front of the car. We're gonna drag that hot air from underneath the hood and get it out. And you'll see where we're gonna drag it to. Now we come around the bend, you can see everything, the aerodynamic efficiency. This air is gonna ram into the fender and come out the back. We drop down, and that is a 20-inch wheel wrapped in a rubber band. This is literally a rubber band, this very low 30 series Continental track specific tires. So these tires are meant for track duty. They're not gonna wear very long. They're only gonna last probably about 10,000 miles or so. And then you're gonna have to need to throw on a new set. So not really the most economical for daily driving, but for this particular car, you can see the massive, huge rotors, cross-drilled, fully ventilated, 4-piston caliper, nice large. You're gonna slow this thing down as if, you know, He-Man was gonna clamp down on that rotor and break it. Now, underneath is the adaptive dampers. All 4 corners, you go into different modes, it's gonna actually stiffen the suspension, the compression, the rebound. Now, like I was telling you, the airflow, so it channels through the venting in the fender and it comes out the side. I'm gonna have Tom kind of swing around. I love this Sonic Pearl color because it really fits the Type R and it shows the body lines. You can see where that air is gonna exit down the side of the car. Massive side sill extension. And then here's a little fun fact. A lot of people always say, how come Honda did not round off this fender flare? It's like this for a purpose. All this air is coming down It's gonna hit down low, it's gonna hit right here, and then it's gonna be kicked back towards the back of the car. That's the whole purpose of it. The reason why obviously it's fender flared is because the four corners of this Civic, everything's been pushed out for maximum grip. Now when we get to the back, look at all the aero work, all the intricate details to channel that air as it flows off the roof and then kick it back towards this rear wing. Now this wing may look cartoonish, it may look like it's from the Fast and the Furious, but this actually produces downforce. Not only the top portion, but there's also a lower wing section, and you'll be able to see that as Tom comes around. You can see this bottom section is also a wing to channel air over and under. There's that red beautiful badge. We come down, get the syrup out. We got the beautiful waffle iron design here. I'm gonna zonk that. I don't know why they did that. It's just so large and not functional. The back rear diffuser area, massive diffuser area. This is actually a functional piece. And then of course we have that iconic, really mind-blowing triple exhaust outlet. Now, the whole point of this is to help the drone of exhaust sound from highway speeds. Not the loudest exhaust. You would definitely, if you want something loud, you're gonna have to go aftermarket, but definitely a very high performance functional piece. But why don't we go ahead, we talked about the outside, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this Type R. All right guys, we got the hood popped on the Type R. Now, if you're thinking about Type Rs from the past, this is not like those Type Rs that would rev out to 9,000 RPM with the crazy VTEC setup that they used to run. But you know what? You're looking at 306 horsepower from that 2-liter inline turbocharged engine. What's wonderful is that it makes for a great daily driver, but it also will really be able to turn up the wick at the racetrack. 295 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, if you're good with your twinkle toes, is gonna be 4.9 seconds. I hope you know how to drive stick because you could only get this in a manual. And then MPGs, you're gonna get a great return. You're looking around almost 23 miles per gallon in the city with this setup of 306 horsepower. I do like the engine compartment. I think they did a great job on the actual engine cover. Nice, that bright red color. You could see the functional scoop. Now, if you ever wondered what's this aluminum piece here, this is actually a rain guard. So when it's raining, it's not just gonna dump water all over your engine. It's actually gonna channel it out the sides. And I'll have Tom show you in those fenders, you can see where that air, that hot air is gonna be leaving the engine compartment and the air, how it channels from the front to those side scoops there. But anyways, really crazy, amazing performance. Why don't we go ahead, fire up this Type R and see what it sounds like. All right guys, we're in the 2019 Civic Type R. If you're wondering, well, how much is this? They're asking with 9,000 miles on the clock, $36,000. Now remember, the values on these have been held very high because of so many dealerships putting markup on them from brand new. So that's where you're gonna get an advantage, is by buying pre-owned, you'll definitely avoid markup. If you do some research, you could also find some dealerships out there. You may have to drive a long distance, but that also will not put markup on it. Let's see what you get for the money. Now going to the door panels, there's a lot of beautiful Alcantara material. The armrest though is as hard as a rock. What I do like though is I like that red trim. It looks like anodized aluminum, and the faux carbon fiber looks really closely spot on to the real deal stuff. Now as you go from that soft material on the top of the door panel to the dash, soft material, that faux carbon fiber. I love the red trim everywhere. They did a great job with that. You have your 8-inch infotainment system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation, of course, touchscreen. The big news for 2019 was the return of this little guy right here, the volume knob. If you get a 2018 or a 2017, there is no volume knob. You have to go into the system. Climate control, real easy to use. You could use the system here. I could turn it on right there. There goes your blower fan and everything. Or you could use the switch gear right here. So if you don't like touching those buttons, then you could just touch these buttons, and obviously it does really well. It's gonna be dual climate control. You got a nice little cubby where you could route the cord for your USB and everything that is located in the second cubby down low. The great thing about this Type R is this right here. Now this shift knob will be as hot as heck. during a sunny day, but if you put some type of sunshade up or whatnot, it's really not too bad. Very, very short throws, very, very mechanical in feel. It's a different gearbox than the SI. So if somebody said it's the same gearbox, they're a liar. Smack them in the face. You have your switch gear here to go into R mode. R mode is gonna make everything more racy, so to speak. It's gonna stiffen the suspension, adjust the throttle response, steering input, all that good stuff. And then you have comfort as well. Electric e-brake, you have your Civic Type R number. This is R25412. Here's a fun fact. These numbers were put out of order. So don't think that this Type R was number 25,412. They actually did them in random order, which is weird. You have your key fob, which guess what? They did put the Type R badge on there, not the regular H. More Alcantara. This is softer. The armrest on the door sucks. This is softer. You could obviously slide this. You could also lift it up. You got 2 cup holders. And then these seats. It's gonna be tight, but they're actually comfy. If you could squeeze into these, they're very comfy. I love the embroidery, the red color, the stitch work, everything looks wonderful. They're both manual seats for the passenger and the driver, but I'm 6 feet tall. I could lower the seat a little bit. I got plenty of headroom. You could put your helmet on for your track day, ready to rock and roll. But why don't you come over to your business end? I'll show you behind the wheel of this Type R. All right, guys, driver's side, the business end. Talk about the business. Of course, you're gonna get the required red seat belts for your Type R. You can see how high the bolstering is, but the seat is actually comfy, believe it or not. I've driven Type Rs on long distance, drove it to Sebring and stuff. It actually wasn't so bad. Steering wheel, love the thickness. I like the red accents for the Type R. You got that beautiful H badge. Where I don't like it are these buttons. So I always zonk these buttons. I don't like the feel or the look. Instrumentation, check it out. You could actually go and toggle through. You have shift lights. We could go the other direction here. Let me go back. Hold on one second. Here's where we could then go through. You could get your boost gauge and whatnot. So a lot of different information. Let me show you when we go into R mode. So right now we're in sport. Tap it again, R mode. It shows the car. See the dampers getting stiffer. Everything happening for performance in this vehicle. You got everything else is Civics, is straight up Civic. So if you get this Civic Type R or a standard Civic, it has the same gauge layout as those other models. Seating position's great. Like I said, the 6-speed transmission is a blast to go through. But why don't we check out the back seat and see how usable it is for your passengers as you're going around the racetrack. All right, guys, backseat time in the Type R. You're gonna get still that great amount of room that any Civic has, whether it's an SI, a Civic Sport, or whatever. You'll see the one-piece backs, this faux carbon fiber. It looks cool. It's just not real. You have 2 cup holders and a little cubby for probably some Cracker Jacks. As you are going around your favorite racetrack with your passengers, they could eat their Cracker Jacks. No rear AC or USB back here. So I am gonna zonk that at this price point, but definitely plenty of headroom. You're not getting, though, the nice Alcantara. This is just your standard cloth seats, which with a little bit of red stitching. It would be nice if they had Alcantara seats back here for your passengers, but let's go ahead, check out underneath that hatch and see how much room you have. All right, guys, we're popping the hatch. Just push a button right there, you lift it up, and this is really where the Type R is a home run winner. The amount of space you have in this hatch is way more than a Ford Focus RS, way more space than a Subaru WRX STI. And remember, those seats are gonna fold down. So if you're doing your track day, you could bring a jack, you could bring a set of wheels with tires mounted on it, your track day tires mounted on it. And then when you're done, take it all off and go home. But why don't we get to the best part of any Type R? If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this Type R for a spin. All right, guys, we're leaving Furman BMW. We're in the 2019 Honda Civic Type R. I do have it in plus R mode. Second gear, roll on, here we go. 7,000 RPM. I tell you, this front wheel drive vehicle performs like none other, especially with 306 horsepower. I'm gonna say that the previous owner did something with the stock exhaust, because it definitely sounds louder than my Type R, unless Honda did something which I am unaware of. Then that would be that. But I really think that the previous owner did something, because it seems a little bit louder, especially inside the cabin, than what I remember. But who knows, that could be just my memory fading. But anyways, the great thing, like I said, these seats, even though they're highly bolstered, they are very, very comfortable, and I do like sitting in them. The clutch is ultra light, and it's got a great pickup point. So if you're new to driving a stick shift, you could do it on a Type R. I would recommend a Civic Si, especially if you're a new driver, like new to driving. But this Type R, definitely the clutch is very light, great pickup point. I love the shifter. It's just a thing of wonder when you're pulling away and whatnot and going from one gear to the other. Really, really nice feel. The only thing is that rev hang. But I tell you, man, power-wise, once that turbo starts spooling, it goes all the way up to red line. 7,000 RPM on the red line. Third gear roll on. Nice. Very, very nice. Visibility out the front, just like any other Civic, is great. I love the feedback from the wheel. It just, you feel so planted. And the way that the suspension is designed, it eliminates torque steer. And it also eliminates that push that you get when you're cornering very hard in a front-wheel drive car. Now, you are gonna have to drive this like a front-wheel drive car. And what I mean by that is, if you're on a track or doing an autocross event, you are gonna have to adjust your line, but for being a front-wheel drive car. But other than that, this thing is, it's a little rocket. It really is. Here we go, first gear. The shift lights come on. Really, really, the feedback is great. You just feel so planted, very nice. And rock hard pedal, but with good feedback. Those massive Brembos, like I said, you got He-Man's hands slowing this Honda Civic Type R down. That's how good it is. Very, very smooth, very comfortable. I like the way the seats hold me. I really do. And like I said, I drove it to Sebring, wasn't an issue. The armrest though, I remember that armrest is very, very hard. It's really up to you. You know, you really can't go wrong. Subaru WRX Ti, Ford Focus RS, even a Golf R. We didn't mention that at the beginning of the review, or a Golf R. I mean, they're all great cars with their own personalities. If you do a track day and you know how to drive, yeah, you're probably gonna be the fastest in the Type R. I mean, just depends on the track, depends on the driver, depends on the situation. If it's pouring rain, obviously an all-wheel drive car is gonna whoop up on you. But it's just one of those things that with different cars, you're gonna get a different driving experience. All right, guys, here we go. From a dead stop, on a turn. A little bit of push, but that's all right. We're going. Remember, this has automatic rev match downshifting on the brakes. Really, really nice. Look at this. Turn in, front wheel drive. Hold it steady, here we go. The shifter is just the feedback from the steering. Everything feels so spot on. Through this little right, left. Nice, even over the bumps, very, very nice. Great, I'm telling you, that's where the Type R sings, is when you get it on a twisty ribbon of pavement. That's where you are gonna look like a champ in this thing. And even with the front wheel drive, it gets the power down. There was a little bit of spin from a dead stop, but you know what? Once we started going, we were good to go. We were rocking it. Unbelievable. This definitely is a hot hatch. There's your automatic rev match downshifting through this right-hand sweeper here. Really nice, look at that. Brakes, I'm telling you, are rock solid. And you want that, you know, if you're doing a track day and you're getting ready to set up for a corner, you want to make sure when you hit those brakes that the pedal's not just going to go to the floor and you're not going to be stopping. With these, you're going to get that awesome feedback every single time and be able to turn consistent laps every single time. It's just one less thing to worry about in this Type R. All right, guys, so hopefully this gave you a great overall feel of what the Type R is all about, how you could drive it every single day, but when you want to get on it, you can very, very easily. And if you're lucky enough to not live in Florida and live in a state where there's some great twisty roads around you, this thing would be lethal. It really, in the right hands. Doesn't drive itself, but if you got the skill and you know how to carve those corners, you're gonna carve them up just like a Thanksgiving Day turkey. But it was nice to get back behind the wheel of a Type R. I'm never gonna turn down that opportunity. But we're gonna wrap this up, get back to Furman BMW, and I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another masterful day here at Furman BMW. What can I say about this 2019 Honda Civic Type R? Amazing performer. It really is gonna be tough. If you are debating whether Ford Focus RS, WRX STI, or this Type R, it's gonna be a hard decision. You know what? I really don't think you could go wrong with any of them. It just depends on what kind of experience do you want at the end of the day. But I definitely gotta thank Derek, Cody, Alan, and the rest of the crew here at Furman BMW for allowing us access to this freshly traded in, pre-owned Honda Civic Type R. If it's things like these you wanna see on Rady's Rise, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner. He's enjoying this Type R, but I think he'd rather go a different route performance car wise. But just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.